I remember how to work this thing. Alright, so it's obviously been a super long time since I put out a YouTube video. I could give you a lot of reasons as to why I haven't been, but 99% of them would probably just be excuses. It's been 6 months, maybe since February, since my last YouTube video that I put out. Let's just jump right into it. So I'm really happy to be putting out this video and future videos, not only because it's easier to say stuff on here than you would on like Instagram with captions or stories or whatever, but just so you guys can revisit information. People ask me questions all the time that I'm not always able to answer through a DM or a message or a text, whatever. It's usually a lot easier if I just conveyed it through a YouTube video, which was my original plan, but I guess stuff just got in the way. I got lazy, and overall I just got super comfortable. Comfortable not only in the sense of like putting out these YouTube videos and stuff, but also just comfortable in my weight loss journey and comfortable in like my fitness aspect, I guess, of life. So I've been losing weight for about 2 years now, a little over 2 years, and for a lot of that time I was focused primarily on losing fat and actually dropping weight. You know, I got pretty lean. I got the leanest I've been in my adult life, leanest I've been in a long time. Closest I've seen to just 200 flat since like, I don't know, like sophomore year of high school. So it's been a really long time, actually probably before that. I think I was 200 when I entered high school. But yeah, it's been a really long time since I've seen anything close to 200, and I weigh 219 right now. So pretty close to that 200 mark. Coming from 350, obviously that's a long way that I've come. But there's not to say that I didn't reach a couple hiccups in the road. So losing all that weight, I lost a lot of my strength. And so through losing that strength, you know, I was always someone who was stronger. Although I was bigger, like my strength, whether it was playing football or whatever, just even in just gym class, showing off to friends, strength was something that I always had. So when I came to losing the weight and I lost that strength, it was pretty discouraging. You know, it's pretty nice to see obviously yourself lean out and lose weight and fit into clothes and just be happier than I was before overall. But losing strength for me, being in a gym all the time, that was a big thing, and it really wasn't fun to see myself not be able to put up the weights that I used to. You know, I did lift weights throughout my weight loss journey, like when I was really losing a lot of fat, but obviously if you lose over 130 pounds, you're going to lose some strength. And I just really wasn't used to that, so it didn't feel good. I really used to beat myself up about it. I lost 130 pounds. I started putting out the Fit by FitSource stuff, and that was in September of last year when I started this. And then I'd say near like November, I started to shift my focus more so back to strength, because I had lost all the weight that I wanted to at that moment, and I really wanted to build the strength back up. So when you're focused on building strength, you can't really be in a caloric deficit. It's really hard to actually build muscle again while still losing weight. So during that time period, that like 4 to 5 months that I was like focused on building strength again, I was pretty much eating at maintenance level, which means like however many calories and energy that my body needs to just survive my workouts. I wasn't in a caloric deficit anymore. I wasn't trying to lose weight as actively anymore. Now, with that means I was able to eat more food, and that felt really good. I was losing weight for like a year and a half. That's a long time to be just like in a diet phase and focus on losing fat. 80% of the week I was in a caloric deficit trying to lose weight. So in order to build that strength up, you need to eat more food, which I can't lie, it was great. Being in a caloric deficit for so long, I forgot what it felt like to really just like always have energy and always feel great, and be able to eat a little more lenient. You know, like I say all the time, I didn't cut out any foods, but being able to eat a little more lenient, and foods that I ate a little less of, I was able to implement it back into my diet, and I was eating it more frequently, and I was okay because I had built enough balance, whereas I knew how much I needed to eat in order to feel great, in order to keep my weight at that certain point that it was, and also be able to fuel my workout. So it felt really good. You know, I was eating more food. I love food, and obviously I want to eat as much as I can. So maintaining that weight for a little bit felt great. I gained maybe like 3 to 4 pounds, but it was good weight. It was muscle. I wasn't like building a gut back up or anything like that. I'd say like my muscle definition went away just a little bit, just because of before how lean I was, but I was okay with that just because my strength was going back up overall and like I was actually growing, so it felt fine. But with that, eventually that came to an end. So I'd say around like February, March is when I really tried to focus and hone back in on getting cut, and I told myself I was gonna go on a cut, lose weight again, and just like really look shredded for the summer, I guess you could say. But I think that's where stuff really kind of went wrong, because I was losing weight for so long and then I went to maintaining weight. And me, obviously, I'm someone who was 350 pounds. I don't have like the best relationship with food. I don't know if I ever will have a like perfect relationship with food. I was eating more, and so when I tried to cut back again, just cold turkey, just jump back into cutting my weight again, it was really tough. I had cut my caloric intake so low, and then I moved it back up to maintenance. Some days I was eating over just because it didn't matter and I was fine. So trying to go and cut that weight again and just get back to where I was before, when I was just focused on losing fat. That was really my main priority. I was lifting a little bit of weights, but really it was cardio and like lifting more reps instead of heavy weights, things like that, where I was really focused on just losing weight. So trying to jump right back into that was kind of tough. I hit it hard for like, I don't know, I'd say like a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks, and I saw progress. I was dropping the weight. My strength was already dropping, which kind of stunk, but I was losing the weight and it was what I wanted to do. I was doing great, and then I got food poisoning for the first time in my life, and I was throwing up for 24 hours, throwing up, pooping, everything was coming out, and I lost 7 pounds in that one day. Through the 2 weeks, I lost about 5 to 6 pounds, and then in that one day, I lost like 6 to 7 pounds just from my bodily fluids, just being in the toilet the entire day and me not being able to eat everything. So after that, I'd say I didn't feel great for about 2 days, but I was able to eat again the next day. And because I was able to eat again and I hadn't eaten anything the day before that, I was eating a lot more than I would have eaten if I would just eat like normally. So I'd say that was probably the point where everything just got derailed and stuff just started going downhill. From that point on, I never really consistently saw the weight dropping again, and I just started getting in my head about everything that was going on, and I wasn't really sure if I wanted to keep cutting. It was my first like cut of my life. Like, I was losing weight obviously before, but that was just to lose weight. But this time I was really like focused really heavily on macronutrients, my carbs, my fat, my protein, everything. Just really trying to stick to it day in and day out. So it was my first time doing that, and so with that and the food poisoning and just the fact that I had moved my calories back up and then like my calories back down, everything culmination, it just wasn't that great. When I was focused on building the strength back up, I was pretty much able to eat whatever. My workouts were pretty much balancing it out, and I had reached a point where like I knew the balance that I need to eat and work out and what I could do to maintain my weight. So when I was eating whatever, honestly, it put me in a comfortable state. Comfort is probably one of the worst words, worst terms, worst things you could hear when you're talking about personal development of any sort, whether it be weight loss, your job, relationship, anything like that. If you want to grow, comfort is not the word for you. You shouldn't get comfortable for too long if you're trying to grow in any sort. It's not the worst thing in the world. I think everyone should be able to be comfortable at some point, and comfortability is a great place to be in for a little while, but it will never promote personal growth. So it's just, I don't ever really want to feel comfortable again, if that's what I'm trying to say. Comfort promotes just like complacency. You find yourself being okay with where you are, and if you don't progress, you're kind of fine because you feel good at where you are. And that's where I was. I had lost a bunch of weight. I built the strength back up, and I looked best that I have ever looked in my life. People were complimenting me all the time, and it felt really good, and I felt like I looked really good. But I was just comfortable with that, and it wasn't the best that I could look. So when I went, or what I should say, when I tried to jump back into that fat loss phase, that cutting phase, it just wasn't happening. My body and my mentality had slipped back into that comfortable zone, and that's where stuff really got messed up. It was really hard to tell myself week in and week out that I was going to hit this fat loss phase again, and go ahead and lose 10, 20, 30 pounds, get shredded again like I was doing before, because I was just so comfortable. I was eating food. I was eating, I guess I was eating food the whole time, but I was eating more food again. I was eating more of the stuff that I stopped eating so much of. So it felt really great every day, and my weight wasn't going up. I wasn't like severely obese again. So like I was comfortable where I was. I felt like I looked good. I was still fitting in my clothes, but it's not where I wanted to be mentally. So because of that, because I wasn't hitting it as hard as I wanted to, week in and week out, I would tell myself, all right, like it's time to stop playing games. It's time to stop eating as much as you were. It's time to focus on your macros and your calories again. And like I was just week in and week out, I would tell myself that, and I wasn't doing it. I would go to sleep one day, wake up the next, and I would just forget everything that I told myself the previous night laying in bed. I felt like I was slowly creeping back into my old ways when I was severely obese, just like not being able to control what I really wanted to control. Like I said, I wasn't gaining 20, 30 pounds, but I wasn't losing the weight that I wanted to lose, and I wasn't losing the fat that I wanted to lose. So it felt like I was failing every week, every single week, for that starting like February, March, until I'd say like, honestly, up until a couple of weeks ago, I felt like I was failing every single week. I started to get confused with myself because I had lost over 130 pounds and I was maintaining that weight, and it was great. And I knew the mental strength that it took to lose that 130 pounds, but I couldn't lose 5 more pounds. I couldn't lose 10 more pounds. Like I couldn't get myself back into gear and get the train rolling again to lose 5-10 pounds and like look how I want to look. So I was really confused with myself and just started just getting conflicting thoughts, wondering like what was going on, because that feeling of not being able to control myself was exactly where I was before. And that's exactly what got me to 350 pounds. So beyond just being confused with myself, I was scared. I was actually feeling as though I was going back into the way that I used to be. And so every day that I would do great for like 2-3 days, and then one day just like really slip up. And it's not even like slipping up severely. I was just eating more. I just wasn't hitting my goals how I wanted to. But I would slip up, and then I would slip up again the next day, and then the next couple of days would go back, and just like fluctuating between doing great, doing okay, doing poorly for months and months and months. And I was confusing myself. Like I have a friend at work who was kind of going through the same thing. He lost a bunch of weight, but he's not exactly where he wants to be. And we talk about it all the time. Like it's like you're a second away from just like clicking back into how it should be and how you want to control yourself, but it's so tough. So I was really confused, and I just didn't exactly know what was going on mentally. And so since I had lost so much weight, like people were so complimenting me all the time. Like I post pictures on Fit by FitToy, posting like side by sides, just talking about it and everything. And people still compliment me, tell me like how great I look. And it got to the point where I started to hate hearing it, because when I was losing all the weight, like week in and week out during my first phase, I felt great. People telling me that it felt great because I was seeing the scale drop. I was seeing my body change and like get leaner every single week. But now that I was at the point where like I had lost the weight, tried to build the strength back up, and then trying to lose more weight, and people trying to tell me that, or people telling me how great I look or how good they think I look, how great of a job I've done, I appreciated it so much. But I started hating to hear it, because I would hear it, but then I would go home and like be confused behind closed doors, just not feeling like I'm progressing anymore. So they're telling me how great I'm doing, and I appreciate that, but like I just wasn't in my mind. And I guess literally too, I wasn't progressing anymore. So those conflicting thoughts was pretty hard too. So not being able to hit the ground as hard as I wanted to, as I was before, being like as strict with myself as I was before, it just got me really down on myself. So I was super confused. I was upset at myself all the time, and like it wasn't as bad as it used to be back in the day, but like it still stunk week in and week out, just not knowing and like not being able to tell when I was gonna snap back out of it. Snap back out of that comfortable zone was really hard. So that would seep into making the YouTube videos. Pretty much why I haven't recorded a video since February, March, is because me just getting so down on myself and not feeling like I was accomplishing my goals would make me not want to get up and make a video. I would get up, plan to make a video for that day. I'd go to the gym, eat, and I'd say, all right, I'm going to make a video. And then just all the negative thoughts and stuff, just not being motivated, I guess you could say. I don't really like the word motivation, because motivation is so fleeting, but really not being motivated to start to get back on track. That's where stuff really hit the wall. I was so unmotivated by failed attempts elsewhere in life that I just felt like I didn't want to make a YouTube video. I didn't have any like energy to get here and sit in front of a camera and talk to people and almost feel like I'm lying just because, and I guess it's not lying the stuff that I'm saying, but just because I felt like I was failing inside, I didn't want to give people information and like feel like it wasn't good information to give. And then on top of that, I would get mad at myself even further for not making a YouTube video. So it was kind of like a vicious cycle. I was mad at myself because I wasn't cutting the weight how I wanted to. And then that seeped into not making any YouTube videos because I was mad at myself for that. And then I would get mad at myself for not making any YouTube videos. And it was just a cycle of just like disappointment and like self-loathing. So like it wasn't great up until probably like 2 weeks ago. A couple weeks ago, I just sat myself down. I thought about everything I had accomplished. I was looking at old pictures and stuff. I was just thinking about like, I'm going to Miami in a month and like I just really want to look great for Miami. Like little stuff like that motivating me or getting me back and just like building that discipline again is really what I want to do. So I sat myself down. I just talked to myself for like 30 minutes, maybe an hour before I went to sleep. Just like, are you happy where you are right now? Is this where you want to be? Where do you want to be? And that's what you have to do in life. When you feel like you are hitting a wall and you're not accomplishing the things that you want to, and you feel like you can't get back on track, that's when you just have to sit yourself down, look at all your goals and the things that you want to accomplish, and then start implementing the things that will help you reach those accomplishments. So I know that a goal that I set out for myself recently is that I want to be a better runner. So every other day now, I've been getting up and running at least 2 miles, or whether it be on a treadmill or outside, just because I know that it'll build up that discipline that helped me to lose the weight that I lost in the beginning. I think honestly, like I look great now. There were times weeks ago where like I'm bloated and I'm like, man, like I look 350 pounds again. Obviously I wasn't 350 pounds again, but that's really what it felt like just because I wasn't seeing any progress for like a few months now. So it feels like I had gained all the weight back when realistically I gained 2 pounds. So I'm not trying to look like The Rock tomorrow. It'd be great if I did, but I know it's not possible. So it's almost like I'm starting over all over again. But when I woke up this morning, it was so much easier to just sit down and say, all right, I'm gonna make a YouTube video. And here I am making the YouTube video. I feel like in the last 2-3 weeks, I've started to build that discipline back up. And so it's leaking into other things in life. So I'm back. I'll be making these YouTube videos again once, maybe twice a week for you guys. Like I said, it's so much easier to just convey my message through the videos, not only trying to like write it down in captions. I know people don't always want to see that. So being able to put it on YouTube video, having someone reference it if they ask me a question is a lot easier. So if there's anything you guys have questions about, let me know down below. Please subscribe, press the notification thing. And yeah, that's it.